Alright, everyone, it is I, Schrodinger Jazzstar Valentine, and today we're gonna start. Whoop, I forgot to do this. I forget every single VRChat stream. There we go. But yeah, today we're gonna start getting back to a bit more of a regular schedule. After, I kinda took not quite a full hiatus because, I still was streaming, more or less, but I did take a little bit of a break from, a full schedule and really just focused on trying to, kind of just take it easy and all that jazz after the whole, thing went down with the Minecraft streams and all that jazz, which, yeah, that, it's still a little tough, but I mostly moved past it by now, for most part, so, yeah. And what better way to start than by looking at a map that, to be honest, I kinda always had been a little harsh towards. That being, of course, Epilog Chapter 1. Now, to be completely honest, I've never had the highest opinion of Epilog Chapter 1 only because, well, to be completely frank, it was, it didn't really have the charm that a lot of the weirder, later, organism maps had. It was a lot more toned down, it was a lot more... It was a lot less, weird and out there. It was, to be completely honest, it was kind of just, it was just kind of, eh? Like, it was good, but I never really saw it as, nearly as good as the other maps in the series. But, honestly, after playing through recently again, I started to realize that, you know what, there's actually some pretty cool stuff going on, and I think I might have been a little too harsh towards Epilog Chapter 1 and, beaten down on it a little too much. So, yeah. That's pretty much what we're doing today, so let's get into this. Let's actually do this here. And also, oh no. And also, I do kind of want to talk a bit about, a little bit more about, some things that have been going on, because there is actually something I do want to talk about regarding the future of my channel and what direction I want things to go in, more or less. because, yeah, there have been. So, in case you guys were not aware, I've been, dealing with a bit of an identity sort of thing in regards to my channel, only because, for one thing, I'm not really an edgelord anymore. So the generic edgy sci-fi stuff, it has to go sooner or later. As much as I hate to admit it really doesn't fit me anymore, and it really doesn't fit who I am anymore, because, I moved past that, and a lot of that really is thanks to you guys' help. And, you guys really helping me to move past that and to, really change myself for the better. And, I really got to thank you. Gotta thank every single one of you for helping. So, yeah. But for reals now, let's get into this. So, yeah, the big thing we start out here with is this, which, oh boy, to be honest, this is actually my favorite starting hub of, well, okay, no, the first one's a bit better, but this has to be my second favorite. And then Epilog Chapter 2 just feels, I don't know. But honestly, this is probably my big fave here. Also, really, you know what I realized? So, if you ever went through Epilogue Chapter 2, you'll note that instead of the man in the hat, who is here, you got fancy pigeon guy. And that's when I started to kind of make a connection. That rather than, you know, just symbolizing the importance of the characters themselves and whatnot, this was rather, these statues here were rather symbolizing what character this map was geared around or centered around instead. And that's when I kind of started making the connection that, yeah, it wasn't as simple as, as I thought it was. that there was actually some important symbolism behind those statues that went beyond just for decoration. Or else they wouldn't be different in. Where did Rexy go? What the fuck? Where, where'd she go? Hey Voxel, how you doing? I don't really know where Rexy went now. Also, hey Ari, how you doing? Nah, I meant Rexy. But yeah, as you can tell from the title, I'm really starting to, ease back into a normal schedule, more or less. After the crap that went down with, oh, well, I hope things finally, turn around to get better for you, Voxel. Ari, you'll always be an important part of my team. And, an important part of my community. And I'm never reconsidering you. I don't turn my back on people for no reason. And when I do turn my back on people, it's because they have done something unforgivable or have wronged me in very extreme ways. Yeah, I know. Um, Ari is one of the people who joined recently and is one of my other crew members. They used to be part of Rain's crew, but there's been that whole thing going on with Rain and them. Not gonna get into too many details because I don't really like bringing up drama on my channel. But yeah, it's been leaving them really just in a bad place right now. To be honest, my whole thing about the Rain drama is I'm I'm being supportive of Ari and all they're dealing with and all the stuff they have to deal with the ongoing bull crap there, but honestly, beyond that, I don't really like being... No, Voxel. They are not associated with that one. Nah, Aries cool. But yeah, I'm very supportive of Ari and what they're going through with the drama. But that being said, I'm not gonna get very involved beyond just, occasional support and whatnot. Because quite honestly, I just don't like putting myself into conflict. And I try to maintain peace with most parties, and putting myself into conflict it never worked out well. Let's just say that much. Really loving the... Yeah, I never really noticed the animations there before, but... Yeah. Yeah, I can see why. Hmm. Little toys, one of which has a very ominous shape, if you've seen any of the other organism maps or seen later in this one. This car model actually looks, well, aside from it being a little... Alright, see ya, Ari. It was nice seeing you again. Hmm. Right after a beer, say that say that bump looks like a deer. But where did Rexy go? Oh well. She will probably be back. She'll probably be back. And plus, this stream's gonna be a bit of a long one anyway, so... Honestly, again, like... DUI, how about you die? I'll go 100 miles an hour. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I think the big thing about this world, you know what I realized the big thing about this world that made me dock a lot of points originally was? You know, I've realized oh yes, the Sewer Council will now decide your fate. But yeah. But yeah, the thing that made me dock so many points, now I get it. Now I know what it was. Okay? Um, yeah, the thing that originally made me dock so many points from this world was just that it wasn't as crazy or wacky or weird as the other organism maps. That it was this more normal kinda prologue sort of deal. Like, that is the main reason I did not like this map as much. But, you know, now that I look at it through, you know, less biased sort of lens, now I'm starting to realize, you know, I was actually pretty damn wrong. It's actually, ooh, Tom and Jerry. Not bad. Yes, me too. Oh yeah, this thing. The history about this thing is, so back in the late 90s, um, in Russia, you could not buy, you know, or at least a normal Super Nintendo was very expensive. So they had this emulator that would be used instead. And pretty much used all the same parts and functioned the same way, and that allowed you just to um, play good old Super Nintendo over there. I actually learned this from another group of players who are actually going through this world, in fact. And yes, the map developer is Russian, Voxel. Super Nintendo is yes, Super Nintendo was originally made in Japan, and so there were three different versions. There was Super Nintendo or SNES, which is US, the Super Famicom, which is Japan, and then and then the Bendy, which is Russia. Just a little fun little fact there. Coloring book. Yeah, exactly. Over the US, we called them NES and SNES. That's the version we got over in America. So I'm more used to calling them SNES and NES because I not use the original JP version. Yeah. Yeah, I don't use the original like Japanese and EU release Famicom. I of course use NES and SNES. And a lot of I tend to use a lot of America-centric, Western release terminology of stuff. That's just how I am because yeah, I saw that. I did read that somewhere actually at one point. Yeah, yeah, the current leadership of Nintendo is just hmm, an egg garden. Oh yeah, that freaked me out so bad the first time I heard that radio. Huh. Spy pigeon. Wait, you can sit on the books? What was the greediest company that fell into bankruptcy? Um, oh god, there were so many. I feel like Ubisoft is pretty damn close. Yeah, oh yeah, CEC definitely counts. VShojo is another one that definitely counts because like it got to the point where they literally started like stealing crap from their talents and then after they, stole a little too much. Yeah. Yeah, that too. But yeah, VShojo collapsed under the weight of their own greed and eventually just went so far into bankruptcy that it's not even funny. Oh, it's Doom. Hmm. Some old desk in the corner here. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a perfect way to describe the BS going on with Nintendo right now. because honestly, it's just... Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, due to my graphics card being a little screwed up right now, I can't go over to, the Bright Lit club area, unfortunately. Honestly, I think it's cool that I I think that, for as much crap as some people give the Universal FNAF movies, I think they're pretty good. Both the new one being made and, or, well, it seems promising anyway. Hey Rexy, welcome back. I was wondering where you went.
Yeah, I lost you. That's it.
Where have you been? What?
Uh, I was playing Zombie Town.
Alright. Um, that's actually something I did want to talk about today. Honestly, from what I've seen, Bendy and the Ink Factory, it's gonna be a must play. Like, here's the thing about the Bendy series as a whole. That entire trilogy was, well, now it's a trilogy, but yeah, the officially now Bendy trilogy was one of the things that started off my channel with Dark Revival and Ink Machine. So at this point, I'm pretty much obligated to play Ink Factory and see it through to the end, more or less. Yeah. To be frank, I really hope they do not pull a Scott Cawthon and keep going, Bendy Z trilogy after the original trilogy, and then a prequel trilogy, and then, I really hope they do not pull that, only because, no offense to FNAF, no offense to Scott, I do not know what Rexy is doing. But yeah, no offense to Scott or FNAF, um, but the timeline with all the sequels and prequels and spin-offs and tons of other stuff, it gets a little convoluted. We can hear you. We can hear you just fine.
There we go.
Everything all right?
I don't know, the mic wasn't working.
So, where'd you go for all that time?
Zombie tag.
With who?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
All right. You don't want to know.
I was gonna search for a very particular type of place that looks like this. I'm gonna look around on YouTube. Let me see if I can find it on VRChat.
Nah, I'm kinda in the middle of exploring this.
Thermospore. Hey. Oh,
I'm here.
Thermospore.
All right.
Thermospore.
Hey, up fan, how you doing? I'm currently, starting to get back into a more regular schedule and whatnot, slowly but surely. Also, Rexy, Upfan says hi. Hi, Upfan Williams.
Oh. Hi, Williams. How's it going? Uh, Sorry, I haven't streamed in a while.
Have Speaking of which, Rexy, have you ever been to Epilog Chapter 1 before?
No.
Well, honestly, it's a map that I originally, well, rather a world that I originally didn't think all that well of. Like, I thought it was, good, but at the same time, I thought, there were some issues and that it was definitely a little lacking in some areas. But now I've definitely reconsidered, and I think it's actually a lot better than I gave it credit for. Upfan says, just passing by.
Okay.
But, glad you could be here, Upfan. Your presence is always welcome. Actually, before we get into the more, before we get to, the big field area, I do want to take it down a little thing here.
Okay.
Now I get why she didn't want to bring up the zombie tag thing. She was a go-kart zombie tag with Sarah. Which, you know what? I'm gonna be honest here. I don't really care about Sarah anymore. Like, honestly, that entire thing is past, and, I'm done with fighting with all the BS with, like, I don't really care about Sarah anymore. She's not part of my story. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think you have
Yeah, a lot of it is. Potassium! Indeed.
where are you?
I'm in here.
Oh, there you can go to hell.
Literally. Yeah. Remember, Voxel? We're always there for you. I gotta say, but this part's actually pretty peaceful for the most part. Just a big open field. You good? Oh,
Yeah, I was using.
maybe a few morning doves cooing in the background. No, that would be early morning, and earlier in the afternoon, not night. Yeah, I'm pretty sure morning doves are not nocturnal. Again, as far as I know. What the? Oh yeah, this part, honestly, I'm gonna be full on honest. This part freaks me the hell out. And you'll see why. And no, it's not that. Or the TV. What?
Hello.
I can hear
Hi.
ya.
There we go. Hello.
Alright.
This is the right mic.
Good night, Voxel. And yeah, that is the right mic, I think.
Yeah. Are you afraid of God?
What?
Are you afraid of God?
Why are you asking me that?
Well, you said this place freaks you out, and it's basically religious, so...
No, it's more the creepy atmosphere. You know, the woods, the ruins, everything else. I don't know, I find foggy forests creepy.
Yeah. And speaking of foggy forests,
Yeah?
speaking of foggy forests,
Hang on. Oh! Oh, hell no! Absolutely. I think that one's from... Is that the Ring Girl?
yes.
Alright, so I was around the money. Seems we are interrupting a class. Also, welcome back, Ari. Oh, shit. I think she might have actually crashed this time.
Oh, I was selecting avatars.
Oh.
Just didn't know which. Go. There is this one incident that I would like to talk about, and that's the Fayette Mall incident. It happened around 2024, around New Year's Day, and it's honestly the most mysterious shit that ever happened so far.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently there were like thousands of cops surrounding the mall for some reason, and all because a bunch of teenagers were causing trouble, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, nobody thought that, and something else was going on that they weren't saying, and yeah, the closest thing I got to truth was a 4chan post, and it was essentially what happened is that there were these tall black figures, as in pitch black, and basically they were like 10 feet tall, They came out of nowhere, and essentially they had like this psychic ability to cause people to bleed from their orifices and then fall through their face. Either that, or they just end up going
insane.
I don't know. Yeah, they go insane essentially, and everybody noticed those giant things, and everybody was running right. And what they seem to do, according to a witness from the 4chan post, is that they seem to just like fuck around with your memories, right? If they touch you, you end up seeing like alternate universes of your life, right? And
Yeah.
it's these weird psychic ghost aliens that seem to have appeared out of nowhere, and they're like 10 feet tall. And I'm not even sure if they're like humanoid, but they're like, they're like shapes. They're described as shapes, right? 10 feet tall shapes that are completely black, and they're the pixels are like shaking, if that can even be something you can describe it.
Yeah, that can.
It's like they're shadows, but they're vibrating at the same time. And it's fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
And then the story got completely gruesome in the sense that it described, there was another side effect to when they touch you, right? Or they get you, because they don't really need to touch you. They seem to be able to just do it with their mind. Essentially, what happens is that you either bleed out and fall to your face, or you just fall to your face without bleeding, or you fall to your face and your skin turns completely white or grayish white.
Jesus.
And worse yet, it's not even like grayish white. It's more like translucent grayish white. So imagine being able to see through, all your organs and skeletons and all that. So you're like this transparent, walking human anatomy. And that's if you're lucky enough not to end up bleeding. It's scary, but I also find it fascinating. I don't know. This allegedly happened, but, it's 4chan. God only knows if he's making it up. I wish he was making it up.
The bear is completely glued to his television.
I don't like the look on his eyes.
Yeah, me neither. The look of being completely brainwashed by Soviet propaganda.
Yeah, that's most likely what happened.
Good night, Voxel. Hmm.
So, what do you think about the whole mall alien thing?
Honestly, sounds interesting. But I don't know. Anything from places like Twitter, like 4chan, I tend to distrust.
As you should be. Truth is, nobody knows what happened inside that mall. I just hope it isn't true.
Yeah, I know, Ari.
But
Again, Ari, as much as I am, supporting you, and I will always support you, um, I'm not gonna, put my horse directly in the race. I'm not gonna just fully get involved in the conflict only because, I try to stay clear of stoking conflicts most of the time. That's just who I am. I did not like that laugh.
never mind. Mr. Beast! Mr. Beast!
Yeah, I know. It's Mr. Beast! Mr. Beast! Attack of the Killer Beasts. I should
Attack
add.
of the Killer Beast.
Yeah, I should definitely add that to my background soundtrack eventually when I remake it on my machine once all the upgrades and modifications are done. Where Combine? What are you asking, Ari? Oh, where conflict? I was talking about, the rain thing and the whole rain drama and how I'm trying to stay. I am involved only because, you do want me to help figure all this out and solve it, but I'm also doing a delicate balancing act of trying to, stay clear of as much, you know, drama and stuff as possible and try not to get too involved. Yeah, Half-Life 2 modding is pretty incredible. The next few streams are gonna be Gary's mod ones, by the way. I've determined. Here comes the big fall. Ah! Yeah, this entire area is definitely something else. Like, yeah, no, this entire area is, that entire cloud area, for one thing, is pretty cool. But for another thing, the first time I saw it, I just went, what the fuck? Like, I did not know what to think. But yeah, honestly, you know what? I did give Epilog Chapter 1 a lot of unfair hate. Back in the day when I first played it. And now that I replayed it, I went through everything again, I realized, you know what? Nah, it's actually pretty good. Alright. What the hell's going on in the background?
Wait, what?
I hear some loud, like, it sounds almost like a steam train or some really big metal thing is clanging around behind you.
That is weird.
Alright. Let's see. Do I have Epilog Chapter 2 loaded? No, I do not. Never mind. Let's see. Because originally I was going to only check out this map, but honestly, you know what? No, I think we should go to at least a couple different worlds. Let's just hope this can load in properly and does not crash my stream. Come on, come on! Who's this? Alright, it was no one. Alright. Now Epilog Chapter 1, or Chapter 2 rather, it's preloaded. Come on. There we go. Oh wait. Crap. There we go. My mouse lags a lot. I'm sorry. There we go. Perfect. Welcome to Epilog Chapter 2, aka was pretty much my favorite map for a little while. Even though, to be honest, I think that's now Ritual, because... Oh boy, Ritual is... It's something else, is all I'm gonna say. Like, honestly, I think that Ritual is pretty much, Dr. Moreau taking all the lessons he learned from these maps and applying them to a much grander project. Yeah.
I'm gonna be eating for a little bit, so I won't be able to
Alright.
call you. Take care. I'll just... it'll be a short break, so I'll be...
Alright.
I choked on soda.
Alright. See ya. Alright, that gives me the perfect time to finally talk about, the big aesthetic change that I've been planning. So as you know, the generic stuff, it's gotta go eventually. I wrote out the generic edgy sci-fi aesthetic for as long as, it was still relevant. But now, I'm kind of in a place where, yeah, not so much anymore. In fact, rather, things are quite different, you'll say. So I do have two different things I could go. I could either do more of a, on one hand, we got, more Square Enix-y, I guess you could call it, type beat where, it's got a lot of dark fantasy themes, but it's also got, like headphones and buckles everywhere and, classic Kingdom Hearts Square Enix sort of dealio. So I could either do that and just, go slightly a bit into more edge, but not. Or I could do, a Honkai and Genshin style, like, Art Deco, like, Bioshock, New Eden ass sort of thing. And do that instead. Because honestly, I think the former, the Square Enix sort of style, would match my vocabulary, as my vocab did not really ever leave the mid to late 2000s. I mean, I still say purring like a kitten. Most people say, I don't even really know what the kids these days are saying. Slapping, I guess? Gooning? No, that is something completely different. I don't know. I don't know. I don't speak late 2010s to early 2020s. So, former might be a better fit for my vocabulary and general mannerisms. But the latter, everyone needs me at once. I swear. I hop on, and then every single person just needs me all at once. But yeah, the latter more suits my personality because honestly, I've kind of developed, into a less edgy sort. Like I'm trying to move towards not being as edge anymore, and also I've always liked fancy stuff like Starlight Spire, Rip, and Penacony, and that sort of jazz. So So, yeah, it's, in between, either the more, fancier sort of style, or between just going full square edgelord. And also, I'm probably gonna pick the latter, just because, again, I'm trying to move away from the edgy sort of deal. I did have a white and green design, but honestly, because that one was based on, honestly, there are two things with that. Number one, it's based on a really old character of mine. Number two, the name Angel Heart kind of got ruined by that series and its downfall, shall we say. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. But I don't know, I'll come up with something. I'll come up with something I can actually, like, re-debut with. Though honestly, I'm kind of holding back on the re-debut until the big thing is I'm holding back on the re-debut until I get the new graphics card in and this Dell a little more fixed up and ready to go. Just because, as you all know, this video card kinda... It's got a few issues. Well, okay, it's got one big issue. One central issue is that, in fact, the only issue with this is, number one, very underpowered because, 1050 Ti. And number two, the bigger problem is that this particular 1050 Ti has an overheating issue because of the last driver update for the 10 series having the whole, temperature sensor breaking glitch that can actually kill the card if you're not careful. So, yeah. I frequently get screen flickering, and sometimes it's actually so bad to the point where I actually can't stream on some days due to it. So, yeah, though we are getting into a more regular schedule, it's going to be, about as regular as I could get for, GPU with, stream setup with a busted GPU and a whole bunch of other crap going on. sorry, I had to message someone important. But yeah, I'll cook up something and then we'll see. We'll see. But again, that will need the new GPU in because this 1060 and its many, many bizarre issues. I don't know, I was looking at an RX 6600, especially because it still have Vixen's old power supply. And these Dell power supplies are known for being crap. So it's probably going to replace it anyway. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I have not been here in a while, and you could tell. Yeah, it seems to be sucking up the water rather than pouring it down, I noticed. This is one of the only things that I think wasn't as well executed. Is damn it! This wall right here. Only because, yeah, like the textures just aren't that great. And again, I think a lot of the cut down textures are due to, VRChat's technical limitations for most systems. I don't really think. I don't really think it's, an issue with, the dev themselves. Again, one thing I will say is that, compared to the closest Gary's mod, like equivalent of this series, Void Spaces, compared to the closest, Gmod equivalent. Void spaces, of which my favorite map would probably either have to be Nowhere Mall or that other one, whatever its name is. I don't remember. Off the top of my head, Pink Place. That's right, Pink Place. Those would have to be my two faves. Um, this is still leagues to have that. But it's still a little bit behind something like, you know, if this was made on like just a normal desktop game, more or less. I also tried to do Willamette Mall again. Unfortunately, yeah, my 1050 was not having it. So yeah, we'll have to replace that GPU sooner rather than later. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I think there was a glitch at one point where you could actually go through there. Not anymore though. They patched it. Which I did give these signs, by the way, the old once over with Google Translate. That's World Toys. I don't remember what that is. World colors. And yeah, I'll have to look that up after stream again too. Also, I think that music might be DMCA protected, so let's move through as quickly as I can. Also, if I keep going AFK for a bit, somebody is messaging me in Discord, so... Oh yeah. Not gonna lie, I do like this little tavern aesthetic. Okay, except for the giant black hole, that's a little... Wait, did these actually... Oh my god! Hell yeah, they even got an actual VRC pool. That's awesome. Fun fact, my world that I literally put together by hand, by the way, the Crimson Fox, actually has one of these in it. It actually has a pool table. It isn't like this one though. It's the Fox one, the Cotton Forbs, I think they're called. But yeah, it does have a pool table of its own. And they actually work, is the thing too. I didn't know you could go all the way up here. I always wonder what those M's meant. Yeah, what do those big M's mean? Honestly, I think it's the teleport markers as far as I'm concerned. Like M for Moreau, and then... Actually, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, that would actually be a good reason they're there. And then both collide. One dies. The other, well, mostly survives. gonna take. Oh, there we go. Everything all right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Epilog Chapter 2, which is a direct sequel to the original Epilog map. Both of which are actually prequels to yeah, both of which are actually prequels to the original Organism. That big liminal space map.
There's actually a story in this thing?
Somewhat of one. Really hard to explain, though. Oh, damn. Alright, so right through this. And here we are in the underground train network. Hmm. I always wondered what exactly those were in there.
Imagine if they actually just turned around and stared at you.
Oh god, that would be terrifying.
Like, they just...
Especially since I think those are some kind of... Like, the way that they're sitting there kind of indicates some kind of authority figures, so... We're working for some kind of authority of some sort. That is a big finger. There's a nuclear plant over there. But yeah, this was at one point, well, before two things. Number one, Ultimate Spider Layer. And most recently, Ritual. This was actually the biggest world in VRChat's history for a good long while. But now it obviously isn't. I did not notice that there was no... Hmm. So they were taking these things and that, and then that's how they get merged into that down there. Hmm. Interesting. So,
Okay, let me see if I can translate that.
what?
Translate the text.
Alright. I did translate this before, though, and that is sample 1 up there, and sample 2 is the red. And then that says caution voltage, I think, or danger voltage, or something along those lines. fuse boxes. Really, really shocked there's no guardrails around there. Wonder where all that's headed. All right. Huh. A travel agency. I wonder if these signs are taken from, like, real world stuff. They seem to be drawn specifically for this. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. Rexy? Oh. Had to itch. There we go. Burps. Oh, there you are. Aw, that's so cute. Hell yeah. And yes, those are pigeons. And yes, that is meant to represent the Epilog Chapter 1 area of the train up there. There's all the inspiration. Subway tunnels included. University Hall. Moscow Metro. Rather nice bar. This. This has always been incredible to me. Just up here in general. Probably one of the coolest experiences, I think. And there it is. This first map. Second map. Third. There we go. I just love these maps to death. Like, these maps are the kind of crap that keeps me coming back to VRChat time and time and time again. Despite everything I've experienced, despite all the, great people I met and not so great people I met. I've met quite a few not so cool types too. But honestly, it's worlds like this that really, keep me going to this game, even despite everything. So yeah, just phenomenal worlds here. Whoops.
Hey, can we check out
Can we check out what?
the world that I found?
Alright. Now, normally I would, go through and screen the worlds before, but oh god, they have.
Here, up here.
Alright,
You have to jump.
alright. There we go. This is actually, damn it, pretty good world. I'll definitely be but yeah, I think that's where we're gonna leave off for tonight. So that's pretty much it for this stream. Honestly, it's nice that, I'm starting to have more normal schedule again. I mean, with the graphics issues and all that, it will be a little while before everything is fully ready. But it is mostly good to go. Like, we'll have a mostly more normal schedule. Mostly still focused on Gary's Mod VRChat because, the new drive isn't in, the new video card isn't in. There's a lot of stuff that isn't in this computer, but is definitely moving more towards readiness to go back into just normal operation and all that. Like, we are moving more and more towards a normal schedule again, and it was also good to revisit Epilog and see, yeah, I have been way too hard on Epilog Chapter 1. I definitely owed an apology. And on top of that, I'm also going to be cooking up some new designs. We'll see. We'll see. Again, the re-debut, a bit out because I still need to fix the graphics issues and all that. But, at least I will be, making some designs and seeing what I can.
Are you going to?
Are you going? What?
Do you want to go to my homework?
Sure. After stream though, okay? I'm about to end off. Sorry about that. But yeah, as I was saying, I'll be posting a few designs, maybe. Maybe. I know I say that a lot and I never do, but for realsies now, I think I'm gonna be doing it. But anywho, I gotta get going. I can't sit forever. You pretty much know the drill. So thank you all for watching this wonderful stream here this day, night, week, whatever. And I will see ya all. Well, I'll see ya all sometime next week. So yeah. Good night, everyone. Stay classy, everyone, and good night. And I will see you all next week for probably. You know what? We're gonna go all in on Gary's mod streams for now. So yeah, they seem to be doing real well. So yeah, see you there, everyone.